Welcome back to Horror Stories channel, where every whisper hides a secret, and every story reminds you that fear never really sleeps. Here, we share tales of the unexplained, haunted places, cursed objects, and the shadows that follow ordinary people home. So turn down your lights, put on your headphones, and let the darkness in. Because tonight, we're telling the story of a doll that should never have been found. They say every doll has a story. Some are stories of love and childhood, but others are stories that should have stayed buried. This is the true story of a woman who found a doll, and with it, something that refused to let go. Mara had just moved to the city, a 27-year-old artist who restored old furniture and antiques for a living. She loved forgotten things with history. Every Sunday, she'd wander through the flea markets near the old train station, rows of rusted clocks, chipped mirrors, and faded toys that nobody wanted anymore. That's when she saw it. A porcelain doll, sitting alone at the back of a dusty wooden shelf. Its white dress was stained with age, one shoe missing, and its glass eyes, a pale, unsettling blue. When she picked it up, she noticed the back of its neck was engraved with initials. E.W. The old shopkeeper glanced up from the counter, and for a moment, his smile faltered. "You found her," he said softly. "That doll's been here for years. No one ever takes it." Mara smiled. "Guess she was waiting for me." The man's expression didn't change. "Be careful with that one. She doesn't like being left alone." Mara laughed awkwardly, thinking it was just one of those spooky shopkeeper jokes. She paid, wrapped the doll in paper, and took it home. Her apartment was cozy, books, sketches, paintbrushes scattered everywhere. She placed the doll on a small shelf above her work desk, next to a cracked vase and an old music box. That night, as she painted under the dim lamp, she felt watched. She looked over her shoulder. The doll's head was tilted slightly, just enough to feel wrong. Mara sighed. "You're already creeping me out," she whispered, smiling to herself. When she went to bed, the apartment was silent. But around 2 a.m., a faint humming drifted through the room. A child's tune, slow, repeating, almost like a lullaby. She sat up, heart pounding. The sound stopped. She turned on the lamp. The doll was still sitting on the shelf. Only now, it was facing her bed. The next morning, she blamed it on her imagination. Maybe she'd turned it without realizing. Maybe the humming came from outside. But things got
stranger. Every day, she'd notice tiny changes, the doll's hands in different positions, a chair slightly pulled out, small footsteps in the thin layer of dust near her window. Then one evening, she came home from a late art exhibition. And the lights wouldn't turn on. Her phone flashlight cut through the dark, and there, sitting in the middle of the floor, was the doll. Its head was turned completely backward. Mara screamed, dropped her bag, and rushed to grab it, but the second her fingers touched its porcelain skin, a sudden chill shot up her arm. The air smelled like old perfume. Like a child's room left untouched for decades. She threw the doll into a drawer and locked it shut. That night, the humming returned, louder, clearer, as if someone was standing right beside her bed. "Play with me." Terrified, Mara decided to record everything. She set up her phone on the nightstand, facing the locked drawer. The next morning, she checked the video. At exactly 3:07 a.m., the drawer creaked open. The doll climbed out, slowly, impossibly, and stood on the floor, facing the camera. Its lips moved, but there was no sound. Mara deleted the video. She didn't want to believe it. She called the shop the next day, but the number was disconnected. When she went back to the flea market, the stall was gone. No one there had ever heard of the man she described. That night, she burned sage, prayed, and locked the doll in a wooden box. She sealed it with duct tape and left it on the balcony. But when she woke up the next morning, the box was back inside, on her bed, and the tape had been peeled away. Mara stopped sleeping. The whispers got louder. Sometimes, she'd hear giggles from the bathroom mirror. She saw a small figure standing in the hallway reflection, a child in a white dress, holding something in her hand. When she turned around, no one was there. One night, desperate, she drove to the edge of town, to an abandoned field behind an old cemetery. She dug a shallow hole and buried the doll, wrapping it in a blanket. Rain started to fall as she whispered, "Stay here. Please. Stay." When she returned home, she felt lighter, relieved, safe. But safety never lasts in stories like this. 2 weeks later, her downstairs neighbor knocked on her door. He was holding something wrapped in cloth. "Is this yours?" he asked. "I found it in the basement." Mara froze. He unfolded the cloth. The doll stared up at her, muddy, cracked, and smiling.
She moved out that same night. Left everything behind, furniture, clothes, even her paints. Months later, someone new moved into the apartment. A young couple with a little girl. They found the doll sitting neatly on a chair in the bedroom. They thought it was cute, a gift left behind. But soon after, the girl started talking to someone invisible. She'd sit in her room for hours, whispering, giggling, and singing that same eerie lullaby. One night, her mother asked who she was talking to. The child smiled. "My friend Ellie," she said. "She says she used to live here. If you ever find an old doll in a forgotten shop or attic, and it feels like it's looking at you, walk away. Because some toys don't want to be loved. They just want to be remembered. And sometimes, they remember you back." Like, share, and subscribe for more real stories that will keep you up at night.